Greetings shippers, welcome back. It's that time again, Patreon sponsored video time, the video you guys determine over on Patreon. This month takes us back to the Shippable Moments format, but not for Supernatural. No, this time we're going over to the DCAU, that being the DC animated universe. The reason? Well, it's time to take a look at SuperBat moments, the pairing between the Dark Knight and the Big Blue Boy Scout, Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent, Batman and Superman. Before we get started, a quick mention. You may have noticed that we have a new logo, a new banner, a new ship. Well, that's all thanks to Sam, who was kind enough to modify the original design made by JessCat150. So thank you so much to her, and thank you so much to Sam. I love the new streamlined design and feel, and I'm going to use this ship a lot. If any of you are interested in checking out Sam for any commissions or work, then please check the link down below to their website. It'll always be down there from now on, so of course, once again, thank you, Sam. Now, we already talked about this ship as a whole, so check that out if you want to see more about their history before diving into these moments. Before we get started, it's necessary to define just what is the DC animated universe. Well, the DCAU was a collection of interrelated animated series that all took place in and built upon the same world. The universe began back in 1992 with the Batman animated series, which was quickly followed by Superman in 1996. Following the joining of these two worlds, the shows Justice League Unlimited, Static Shock, and Batman Beyond were added to the mix. Also, the Zeta Project. Everybody always forgets about the Zeta Project, but it's part of it as well. So while this may seem like a daunting task, in reality, Superman and Batman don't interact too much within this realm, but many times when they do, it leads to some of many SuperBat shippers' favorite moments of any canon. For those new to the shippable moments, we'll quickly explain the ranking. Moments are ranked by not only how big they are within the story, but also by the effect on fandom and their prominence within shipping culture. We've got several moments to get through, so without further ado, let's get to it. And we ended up with 10. Not on purpose, it just sort of happened. So, it's the 10 most shippable SuperBat moments from the DCAU. Number 10. Superman pretends to be Batman from Superman the Animated Series, Nighttime. Superman apprehends Vixen Roxy Rocket only to learn that Batman is missing, and his villains are running wild in Gotham. Well, what's a super being to do except take off and see what exactly is going on? When he gets there, he finds Tim Drake taking care of all of Gotham alone. So it's up to Supes to fill in, keep the villains of Gotham at bay, and find out just where is Bruce Wayne. This one is low on the list because Superman states within the episode that him and Batman aren't exactly friends, but actions speak louder than words as Superman sacrifices his time and energy to go all out in helping Robin locate a missing and presumably kidnapped Bruce Wayne. True, it ends up being from the hands of one of Supes' own villains, but he doesn't know that at first. Bonus points for the classic Superman and Batman trope of them switching costumes. Well, half of the trope. Superman makes an okay Batman. Just Superman being the super guy he is, or something more? You decide.
I have to say, for a guy who's supposed to be such a loner, you sure know how to pick a partner.
Number 9. I Can't Fly at all. From Justice League Unlimited, Darkheart. The world is being overrun with self-replicating nanobots, the worst kind, and it's up to the entire league to save the world. The episode is basically a division of the various types of heroes battling these creatures the best they know how. It's a showcase for some of the lesser-known heroes, particularly the Atom. However, amidst all of the chaos, Superman and Batman manage to have a moment. As Batman falls from the sky, he puts in a call for help, as he can't fly. Who comes to his aid? But Superman, of course. Did he come because he was the fastest? Or because, well, these two save each other. It's kind of their thing. Batman isn't even fazed by this and continues his conversation with Supes as if it's the most ordinary thing in the world. And when it comes to these two, it kind of is. A more serious exchange at number 8. You're Not Always Right. From Justice League Twilight Part 2. After being tricked by Darkseid and Brainiac, Superman is furious, and he still hasn't gotten over what Darkseid did to him in his own series, and he's close to cracking. As Brainiac's world crumbles around them, the retreating team realizes Superman isn't coming. Batman runs back to get Clark, only to find him about to do something he will surely regret. So he stops him. It shows how much Bruce cares about how Clark will view himself if he goes too far. He believes in what Clark stands for and is willing to protect him from himself. It shows the depth of his caring that he would shield Clark from himself, which is something that Clark had already begun to do for him. He does this even if Superman can't see it or fully appreciate it.
You know something, Bruce? You're not always right.
A great one for angst lovers out there, and a nice highlight of how flawed the series allowed both characters to be. All hail nuanced Superman. Now for something more lighthearted. Come on, Bruce, from Justice League Unlimited: Dead Reckoning. When a group of monks are attacked, it's up to Deadman to find help, and who better for that than the Justice League? Unfortunately, his untimely possession of Superman interrupts the group's plans to go eat together, which is also an episode I would have watched and thoroughly enjoyed. This moment occurs right before the possession and is comprised of Clark's face when Bruce says he's too busy to eat with them. Disappointment, thy name is Kal-El. What makes this moment is twofold. One, how much Clark really wants to hang out with Bruce in a casual setting, and the appeal of the diner experience in general that has only become more prominent between these two. Come on, Bruce, who can say no to milkshakes so thick you have to eat them with a spoon? I guess we'll just have to hop on over to the Young Justice first so we can watch these two have a pie date. Thank goodness for the multiverse. Number 6, I Just Took a Bullet for You, from Justice League Unlimited: The Doomsday Sanction. When Doomsday is freed by a disgruntled ex-Cadmus employee, Superman must stop him and prevent the destruction of an island that they're fighting is causing. It all proves a bit too much for the Man of Steel, and so it's Batman to the rescue. However, he doesn't get out unscathed. Afterwards in the infirmary, the two heroes have an argument about how far Bruce may have to go to stop Clark from going rogue. It has many layers. Clark joking about the kryptonite Bruce carries with him, a sign of how comfortable he is with the concept, and when he tells Bruce he knows him, Bruce counters with a dark "I do," an implication that he does indeed know Clark very well, even the dark parts. It's a short discussion but a deep one, and really lets viewers see how close these two have become, and how much they know about each other that maybe even the viewer isn't privy to. And that gap, of course, gives rise to shipping. Going back in their timeline a bit for number 5, there might be something to this partnership after all, from Superman the Animated Series: The Demon Reborn. Now you might think Batman having to hunt down and save Superman from Ra's Talia al Ghul, as well as the Society of Shadows, as they're called in the series in order to keep it as kid-friendly as possible, was the shippable moment. However, the moments in this episode are a bit smaller, along the lines of emotional character development. When Batman shows up in Metropolis unannounced after an attack by Talia, the two's initial snarky banter is diffused by Clark, who states he wishes Batman had told him he was coming because he wants to help. Help that Batman actually accepts. This is juxtaposed with the episode's conclusion, where Superman states that they make a good team. While Batman dismisses him, it is clear he feels the same. The moment? These two want to work together. Clark is reaching out, and Bruce is ultimately receptive, forming the very pattern fans of this ship have come to expect from them. Team up fix ahoy! Number 4, Coffee Stakeout. Justice League Tabula Rasa Part 1. When Lex befriends and manipulates the android Amazo, it's up to the entire Justice League to take him down. Since this is still the Justice League and not the Justice League Unlimited, that is 7 people. However, investigating takes work, and sometimes that means you've got to have a stakeout. And what better to keep you awake than coffee? This image of Superman having coffee in the Batmobile has been memed countless times and has wormed its way into people's affections. There's just something about the casualness of the moment, peppered with the knowledge that A, Superman probably doesn't really need coffee, and B, that Batman is letting someone have liquid in his Batmobile. It just highlights how close the two are and is a gem for fans of the more domestic style fix and interactions. Like the milkshake appeal before it, people really just want to see these two hanging out in a more relaxed and food-filled environment. Plus, oh, the magical coffee shop AUs that this facilitates. Who's the barista? It's Clark. Let's not pretend. The barista would be Clark. But yes, I'm sure there are Bruce barista fics out there. No discrimination. Make the barista who you want to make the barista. Another well-known moment at number 3, the hug from Justice League: The Savage Time Part 3. This one is up there when it comes to moments even non-fans may recognize but not be sure from where. It's this hug, and not just any hug, the joyous running across the room hug. So, some context. The team has just come back from correcting an alternate timeline caused by Vandal Savage affecting the outcome of World War II, even though it wouldn't have happened because the whole situation was a paradox, but that's neither here nor there and is often the fate of most time travel fiction. The point is, they're back, and Batman is there to greet them. Superman is so overjoyed to see him, he runs over to him and gives him a big hug. A hug that, while not returned, does not go rejected. The best part of it, the team just looking on as if they're used to these displays of affection. A great moment for those who like to pretend that the two have been together the entire time. A nice piece of cannon fodder reminding people how close they are even if Supes is the only one to show it overtly. It's also a great one for fans of the secret relationship. Way to blow cover, Clark. Number Number 2, Superman's Death Hereafter Part 1. A league of Superman villains has banded together to get rid of Superman once and for all. A Lexless group. So it's no wonder the Justice League doesn't think they'll succeed. However, the DC world watches in horror as Superman is vaporized by one of the Toyman's weapons. The whole world mourns. Yes, even Batman. Also Lex, but leave that Klexiness aside for a moment. The Dark Knight is arguably the most devastated about it, even as he refuses to admit that it can be true. This can be seen by how he keeps the piece of cloth from Superman's cape in his hands, stroking it as he tries to search for any evidence that Clark is still alive. Shippier still is the speech he gives at Clark's memorial, a much more tasteful one than in the DCEU, I must say.
I've got some things to say. I should have said them when you were here, but despite our differences, I have nothing but respect for you. I hope you know that. You showed me that justice doesn't always have to come from the darkness.
This speech showcases how much Bruce has been affected by Clark's presence in his life, and how much he has absorbed of his more positive outlook, and for Batman, that's huge. Superman is his light in the darkness, even with a crazy future beard. Before our top moment, a couple of cute honorable mentions. We have Superman getting slightly jealous that Batman called the then still named Captain Marvel a Boy Scout from the episode Clash, Superman showing up to give Batman a signal watch mid-fight in the Justice League premiere episode Secret Origins Part 1, and yet another instance of Superman leaving a fraught battle to save Batman, because these two will drop everything to save each other in the Justice League season finale, Starcrossed Part 3. And finally, of course, one must acknowledge the A Better Worlds two-parter of the Justice League Season 2. While many may not feel that there are any obvious moments between these two in this episode, aside from Batman just going along with Superman on his new vendetta for world conquest, or I'm sorry, to make the world a better place, people did fall in love with the aesthetic. They love the costumes of the Justice Lords, and of course just the concept of the multiverse. So this episode did indeed inspire some fan art and some fics. Alright, now, number 1, and I'm pretty sure if you're SuperBat fans, you know what's coming. World's Finest. Just the whole thing. Okay. No cheating. We'll break it down. While this whole 3-episode arc, which was eventually combined into a movie, is pretty much SuperBat the movie, there are a couple of instances that stand out, and they revolve around the snarky relationship the two forge in this film that sets the tone for their future interactions, and the evolution of their relationship within the DCAU. This movie sets up their boundaries, and they're pretty thin. Batman following Superman home and spying on him while he changes in his pajamas is a definite high point, as is Superman X-raying right through Batman's mask, which completely justifies some of the concerns that Batman has about him, I must say. Again, in all fairness, he did do this after Batman brandished some kryptonite at him. Also, Superman bowing to Batman after bursting open a door for him. However, more than any individual scene, what makes World's Finest so iconic for this segment of fandom is that it serves as a jumping on point for many shippers, a focal point for them to rally around in the shipping world. Many fics have this arc to thank for their existence, and this arc brought this ship to the forefront for many people as a more visible starting point than many of the comics, which while extremely shippy, were still scattered around, either physically or online, as file sharing was still growing at the time when these episodes were aired. It is doubtful that SuperBat would be as well known as it is without the reinforcing of the relationship/friendship between these two done by the DCAU, and all of that started here. So those were 10 of the most shippable SuperBat moments from the DCAU. Did I miss any? Are there any you feel should have been on this list that weren't? Share your favorite SuperBat moments from the DCAU down below. Or heck, just anywhere. Share them all. And let me know if you want more SuperBat moments from any other mediums, comics, other DC animated films not in this verse, anything. As always, let me know. And don't worry, these are still going for Supernatural. Benny and Dean Winchester. Also, shout out to the Klexiest episode of all time, Injustice for All Part 1. Please, someone want a Klex moments from outside of Smallville, because I will do it. Heck, I would do it for Smallville too. Thank you so much to everyone who voted and to everyone for watching. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on social media to stay up to date, and as always, stay tuned, for there are as many ships out there as there are stars in the sky.